Good early morning. It is Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022. How's everyone out there this evening? I want to follow up on the disgrace of the Jet game that ended the way it did in the most heart-wrenching manner that it did. This one goes after the quarterback, who I am hoping gets benched on Sunday when the Jets host the Bears. And the Bears, who in their own right 3-8, and they could be without Justin Fields, who may be listed as day-to-day, but a dislocated shoulder, let's get real. It's a running quarterback, So that's a tough loss for the Bears, but nonetheless. And when's the last time the Jets beat Chicago? 22 years ago? It was 2000, I think, the last time they did. Anyway, looking ahead, Zach Wilson. We all saw the game, and we all saw that the defense played their tails off. The defense played their tails off, and, any defense that gives up 3 points, it's deserves to win. Even when the offense is pedestrian, you should win a game. But what happened is basically jet-like, as you just know. Zach Wilson, the pretty boy, as I like to call him, because that's basically what he is. He's the pretty boy, mama's boy, whatever. Cougar, He could have his mom's best friend to, hug it out with. But no, anyway. He says something in the media that was very disturbing, and it just says no accountability. And it's like reports came out that he was very nonchalant in the locker room after the game. Now, you're going to sit here and you're going to tell me in your interview, in your post-game interview, do you feel like you let down the defense and give a plain no? Zach, you've got to be kidding me, right? You mean to tell me that when your defense plays as hard as it did, and your stats are 9 for 22 for 77 yards, and you mean to tell me, and a loss, and you mean to tell me that you didn't let the defense down? If I were your head coach, you'd be benched tomorrow. Now, the bald man did go out and say that, he's not making a firm decision right now to play Mr. Wilson on Sunday. And he shouldn't. It should be Mike White. He's serviceable. He's capable. It just seems like Mike White won that game last year over Cincinnati on Halloween. And then he gets hurt. A few days later in the game. And then when he comes back and he gets intercepted, and that was it. We never heard from Mike White again. And it's like, what more do you want? Instead of Mike White, he went with Joe Flacco when Wilson was hurt. Saleh went to Joe Flacco, who, should have been 0-3. He lost to Baltimore. He lost to Cincinnati. And, it was a miracle, the whole thing with Cleveland. But he did lead those 2 touchdown drives. He did. But now, Flacco is basically the third string, on the inactive. Why not let Mike White play? You've got what have you got to lose? The Jets are 6-4 right now. And like I said yesterday, it's like you could go in like this. What happened on Sunday could have ended up. This might be like a pancake effect, like what the fake spike did 28 years ago, when Dan Marino pulled the fake spike. The Jets never recovered. Now, look at what happened. A game like yesterday, a punt return for a touchdown, the first one of the season for anybody in the NFL. Trying to kick it, and the wind apparently blew it back into the field. They tried to kick it out of bounds, and you mean to tell me that that's something that may deflate the team? That potentially may deflate this team, because it might. Football is a mental game sometimes. You know? So you can sit there and say that the Jets have exceeded expectations because there's supposed to be another 4 or 5 win season and the Jets are at 6 wins. You know, and mind you, if the playoffs started today, the Jets are on the outside looking in. All the tiebreakers, because now, here's the disfavor. They have to finish outright with an outright better record than New England, now that New England beat them twice. Cincinnati had the tiebreak for beating them in week 3. So now, you know, with these teams, I mean, if you look at the teams who the Jets have beaten. Like, you look at it now, I mean, who have the Jets beaten? Cleveland, bitch, frauds. Who else they beat? Pittsburgh, wow, worst season they've had in a while. Miami, okay. Miami didn't have Tua at the time they beat them, but, you know, still right now where things are, they would hold the tiebreak. Buffalo, after Miami, who did they beat? It was Green Bay, NFC, who cares? And then Denver. Denver is a disaster, too. You know, another overtime heartbreak by the Broncos yesterday. And then New England, they lost, and then Buffalo. So at least those two, Miami and Buffalo, those are huge. Division games are huge. But the Jets are 2-2 in the division. Miami, and then Buffalo, 2 victories, and then 2 losses to the Patriots. And in years past, where the Jets have actually been relevant and also, it's always the Patriots that always just had that loss, and it just damages the Jets. And there's been a number of years where this has happened, where the Jets seem relevant, and then the Patriots give them that loss, and then everything just falls into a free fall. There's been many examples. I don't need to get into them. Jeez Louise. And then you had the quarter. I mean, the team has a defense built to win a championship. You know, we always talk about, overhype our offensive weapons that we have. You know? And it just seems like everything is being done. The games we were winning are done in spite of the pretty boy. There's only been one game that Zach has took into his hands, and that was the Steelers game, when the Jets trailed by 10 points in the fourth quarter, and he led two drives to win that game. Outside of that, it's, you know, the run game. Yeah, we sorely miss Breece Hall. We sorely miss Elijah Vera Tucker. You know? I mean, we got away from the run probably because the Patriots were stacking 8 in the box. But again, quick to get away. And, I mean, I don't know if they were playing scared because they were trying to prevent Zach from making the mistakes that he made the first time they played each other. Yet, he still should have been intercepted 3 times yesterday. He's lucky he wasn't. But how this kid takes no accountability just shows them much that in 2 years, or a year and however many games it is, that he just has not matured. On the field and off the field. You know? How he handled it, he handled it, you know, like a petulant child is what he did. You know, message to the pretty boy, it's time to grow up. Time to grow up. Because not taking accountability and just pointing fingers and deflecting everything to the rest of your teammates, who, by the way, are ever so mad at you, you know, that's showing no maturity, no poise. That's just called poor leadership. And you're supposed to be one of the captains of the team. Your buddy Justin Hardy on special teams, you know, took a lot of the blame. I mean, it was, first of all, it's clear as day on that game-winning punt return that he was clearly blocked in the back. You know, but it's the Patriots, and they get all the calls, and we know this. And the Jets, you know, the Jets haven't earned the respect to be beneficiaries of anything. You know, but we all know the Patriots get the calls like this. But it was clearly, I mean, he was clearly blocked in the back. It's like, cut the crap. But anyway. And even if the game went to overtime, were the Jets really going to win the game? They're going to have to hold on for dear life. So, anyway. So I mean, that could have been maybe the punt return touchdown put us out of our misery. Who knows? But again, you know, to not take any accountability for your disgraceful performance is just absurd. It's just plentiful absurd. And that is why everyone in the media, may it be New York or may it be in the national news outlets, are lambasting you. And they ought to. That being said, it's late. I don't know what else more to say. Got to forge ahead to Chicago. I really hope that it's going to be Mike White being named as the starter, because Zach Wilson, you can't commit. You can't commit to him right now. First it was Zach Wilson is going to be our starter the rest of the year, and now you've seen he's just regressed. You've seen the kid regress. New England, right for the taking twice. Any competent quarterback beats the New England Patriots. The Buffalo game, it's like that was the formula that worked. The Buffalo game. But push comes to shove, right? Typical Jets. Just cannot. I don't know what it is about the Patriots that they just cannot overcome. Especially when the Patriots aren't that good of a team. Anyway. That being said, Mike White better be starting on Sunday, or else this is basically asking to punt the season. Oh, and another thing, go Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving, go Minnesota Vikings. Please, just help us all. All right. Almost home. It's late. It's 1:17 1:17 in the morning. All right. Deuces for now.